All right, welcome back to a long overdue episode of the Florida Boat Guy Season 2. I can't believe it's been a year of Florida Boat Guy episodes, but looked at the calendar and it has been. So, time for a new intro and some exciting things coming up. Right now it's wintertime here and wintertime everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. But not a whole lot of boats going on, so haven't been too many interesting things to film. I was in St. Pete, show a quick shot. Worked on a beautiful offshore sailboat and started to video and asked the guy if he was okay with me videoing the inside, and he said no, he didn't want to be videoed. So that was a beautiful boat, and I was kind of sad I didn't get to video it. Maybe he's running off to Grenada to hide from the IRS. I don't know why he didn't want to be videoed. I have got one other boat that I did this week that I'll add onto this video, and lots of exciting things coming up. Got a trip to the Keys, and just ordered my new boat, not new boat brand stand-up paddleboard. So excited to get that and kind of open up some of the islands around here that we can't get into with the bigger boat and we can get to with the paddleboard. Will also be fun in the Keys, so we're gonna have some shots doing that, and then lots of boat projects here. So I'll take a quick break and give you an update on the Grady-White and what we're working on this week, getting it ready for the Keys. All right, so people keep asking me what is next on the Grady and what the next project's going to be. Couple things here. I'm going to start working on this one today. It's going to take me a few days, maybe a couple weeks to get done. A very small electrical distribution panel for AC power, and the main purpose of that, going to be staying on the boat in Key West and want to be able to plug in shore power and power up my chargers, refrigerator off of AC. So this is my upper radio box, you can see it here, and I've been talking to the guys at American Offshore Marine, American Offshore Fishing actually, and they're the ones that did all these panels for me, did the electrical panel, and they've been chomping at the bit to work on this next for me, as long as I give them a shout out in the videos. So what we're going to do right now, this opens up and the VHF stays in here, and it's just kind of an open box. So what we're gonna do is completely replace this acrylic panel here. They're gonna measure this out for me, or I'm gonna measure it out, tell them what we need. We're gonna have a panel that goes all the way to the top here and screws just down in, and it's gonna have a cutout for the VHF radio to flush mount. And then what I'm trying to do is find a box that will fit here and give me a little storage compartment, so we still have storage up here. But that will just kind of clean up that look a little bit. This is all original, so gonna be a nice pretty piece of black acrylic there. Once I get all the measurements done and off to them, so that's on the to-do list. And then the other thing, and I don't know if I'm going to get to this soon, but these are what we call the scupper hoses. And the scupper hoses on an offshore boat, any water that comes overboard goes down these drains, stays out of the cockpit, especially if you're hosing off the boat. This is kind of a staple of what we call a saltwater boat. It's going to have scuppers, can be completely safe, self-bailing, so any water goes overboard and not into the bilge. And these scupper hoses are original, 18 years old, and you see they're starting to crack. And these hoses are crazy expensive, worth their weight in gold. So luckily I don't need much, about 18 inches on both sides, but still that's gonna be pretty pricey, and then getting all these rusty clamps off without busting anything off. The back ones are bronze, but this is plastic here, and it's old plastic, so I'm gonna have to be real careful not to bust that off. But yeah, those hoses, they're not looking too great. So that's on the to-do list, but they're not leaking right now, so I'm gonna leave that alone for now, and probably gonna be after the repower before we get around to doing that. All right, so this is the template. This is the best place I could find. I need all the power on the port side of the boat because the battery charger's on the port side, refrigerator, air conditioner, everything's on the port side. So I really didn't want to mess with running. There's room to put the panel here, actually a better spot there, but then I have to run cables under the floor and back over to this side. So I'm gonna try and squeeze it. This panel's meant to be horizontal, but The only way I can make this fit is to turn it vertically. So, gonna get out the drill and the jigsaw and hope for the best. All right, pilot holes drilled, no wiring or anything behind there. The blue painter tape, keep the jigsaw from scratching up the bulkhead here. So going to try and cut this template out. Sawdust absolutely everywhere. And you can just see how thick this boat is. Man, 3/4 inch plywood on this bulkhead. So yeah, but moment of truth, I don't know if it's not pretty, but ooh, not quite. All right, so we're hitting down there at the bottom a little bit, so I'm gonna clean that out a little bit. All right, so it's not as perfect as I would have liked, but it is a little tiny gap. Can't really see it. That should work. So got my little AC panel. I'm not going to screw that in yet until so wish me luck. Go check inside and make sure that pilot hole looks okay, and then go from there. All right, that one pained me a little bit, but no collateral damage. Stayed away from the wires in there. That's what I was worried about. And plenty of clearance to, once we pick the tape right there. So tape's just there to help protect the fiberglass, keep it from cracking when we're drilling into it like that with a hole saw. So that should work. All right, fiberglass is cleaned up and that fits in there perfect. So that's where that's going to go. Once we've got the wire, I've got that on order from Amazon, and we'll get that screwed in once I've got it. So perfect. One more hole to go. And last thing, this is meant for an office desk, but it's got a nice little USB and an outlet, and fits in a standard 2-inch hole. So we're gonna drill a 2-inch hole. Gotta find one more spot where I can fit this, and last hole for today, and that'll be it for now. Last hole. Again, barely avoided the wires. So we'll see, get that vacuumed up, see what happens. All right, after a solid 20 minutes of vacuuming, we'll see. It got a little dirty. It's all right, we'll get that cleaned off, but that goes there. I kind of, that goes there. Ow! Ugh. All right, we've got our shore power inlet connected up to the cable and pilot holes drilled. I'm using some 3/16 stainless screws for corrosion resistance. I'm gonna get that lined up and should screw right in there, and then the wire's just loose. I'm gonna run it to the distribution panel location after I get this screwed in. Nice stainless steel finish. And the way this one works, pops up, stays open. There's our plug. So it's nice and out of the way. Also under my cover here, protected from the elements. So there we go. Okay, we are back on day 3 of this project, getting the electrical panel ready to hook up. So really very simple. I've got my power in from, actually it's this one, shore power inlet. I've got power out to the battery charger at the rear of the boat, power to the cockpit outlet, and power to this little guy here, which is going to be my cabin outlet with USB sockets, and going to wire each of those to my 3 circuits here. I've got all the ring terminals I need, so just need to pick out the right sizes for the wires. Blue is for the 14 to 16 gauge, and yellow is going to be on the thicker wires, the 12 to 10 gauge. So going to go ahead and get started on that. Again, this is a simple installation. Basically just keeps me from having to run extension cords all over the boat to plug in the battery charger and phone chargers and all that. I have one central location, so not going to get into galvanic isolators, which you're going to have on a bigger boat that's in the water all the time. Deals with stray current on the ground line. Not doing any of that because this is real simple, as simple as can be. It's a small boat and not running any big electrical loads. Also not going to get into the ground fault interrupters. I have one on the outlet itself, you know, shock prevention on the outlet, but you know, new boats are all required to come with that, an entire boat GFI, ground fault interrupter. Don't have any of that. That stuff starts getting expensive, and we just need this simple and functional. So going to get all these wires stripped and the ring terminals that we need on there, and hopefully get this thing mounted. Okay, we've got all of the ring terminals on, proper size for each of the wire types that we've got here. And next step is going to heat shrink each of these, which is going to take a little bit. And then we will get everything connected up. Okay, all the wires are connected, and I got out a lighter and heat shrinked all of these. So just like home AC wiring, except we have a lot less room working on a tiny panel like this. So black to hot, white to neutral, green to ground, and these are each of the individual breakers. So I'm going to probably zip tie this up, kind of clean it up a little bit, and then see if we can't get that panel to screw in. Okay, panel is installed. Get that light out of the way. And actually has some backlighting there. So that's 12 volt backlighting there, so you can see in the dark. But and then we've got this outlet here. All the connections are here. Nice little spot there for it. Doesn't take up too much real estate on the bulkhead, and you can't see it all behind there. So the last step is going to be running the wire back to the battery charger and connecting that, but everything else is set up and done in here. Alright, welcome back to the Florida Boat Guy. We are here with my buddies at Land's End Marina working on a 1999 Contender. It's a Friday afternoon, so I'm going to make this quick. Beautiful day here. It's 82 degrees and sunny, so I'm going to take a look at this Contender, and I think you'll figure out right off the bat what the problem is. 1999 Contender. Guys are currently drilling holes in the floor so we can get to the sending units. A pretty boat, like the color scheme. That's right, that beautiful Contender is owned by a longboard. So we'll give them, we'll let it slide. But what happened was the boat sank. So it all makes sense now, right? So the boat sank, the fuel tank's filled up with water, and so I'm here to just empty all of that out today. But we actually had to cut up the floor. I'll take a couple videos of that to get inside that Contender. What's interesting is we were trying to figure out what the insurance comps were on it, because you got to do insurance check. And that boat, I was guessing, is almost 25 years old. It's $60,000. The comps on that boat came in at $95,000 for a 25-year-old boat. Absolutely unbelievable. Times that we live in, that is as much as the original was priced 25 years ago. So who would ever thought that boat was a good investment? So times have changed a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to get back to pumping out the boat. Sorry for all the noise. That's the pump chattering away, telling me it's doing its thing. Alright. So this is what I was talking about here. These were the factory holes, sending units over here. So our guys over here at Land's End got the hole saw out and got us right into the tank there. And we got another one over here. And then there's a third one we don't have access to, so we're gonna have to just pull that off the fuel line back here. And we've got some fuel valves to find that center tank. So pretty quick and easy today, Friday afternoon, so I'm ready to be done with it. So I'm gonna hurry up and finish this up and get back on the road. I was leaving Land's End. We're seeing more and more of these. Got the glass drawn on the steel trailer from Pennsylvania. With the stern drive. This one's going to get dropped in the salt water and they're going to be confused why their trailer rusts from underneath them. And their engine exhaust risers rust and destroy the engine in under 2 years. That's my prediction. All right, I am leaving Land's End Marina in Apollo Beach on a beautiful Friday afternoon. That Contender, nice boat. Like I said, I can't believe how much money the insurance was claiming that thing was worth. So got all 3 tanks cleaned out, going to send that owner on his way, and he's getting a complete repower, new engines, new wiring, everything from going under. So that's all I have for now, and going to hopefully enjoy the weekend, and we'll get some more interesting stuff coming up next week.